Good evening. This is Makasia Jackson with the JFK Report, and right next to me I have Savanah Hernandez, the producer for Elijah Schaefer's Slightly Offensive and the host of Rapid Fire on YouTube, your own independent podcast.
Yep, the Rapid Fire podcast. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Sav Says on YouTube.
Awesome. We love your show. You and Elijah, you guys just go back and forth. It's funny. You guys are giving the truth. And you're out there doing actual field work. That's what's amazing about you two. You're actually going out in the field. And you stated that you were with Elijah on January 6th. Now, what are your thoughts about that?
You know, the most interesting part about January 6th, because Instagram has been coming after my account a lot. Now, they took down some of my videos for violence, right? But the only videos they took down from January 6th were the videos of protesters being peaceful. Every single video with actual violence, because we do know there was some back and forth with the police there. All of those actually violent videos, if you will, are still up, but every single video showing the protesters chanting peacefully, being there just, to stand up for their election, stand up for their country, all of that got taken down.
Yes, and I'm glad you said that because I was actually there when everything took place. I saw the cops initiate the violence, and I have footage of John Sullivan, who's a radical BLM extremist, walking around, calling for revolutions last summer, the Summer of Love. And it's pretty nasty what they're doing because, people were just peacefully protesting. I saw kids and elderly people being hit with flashbangs. They were just standing there, and these cops were just beating people out of nowhere. And that's why some Trump supporters fought back and got agitated. And, the people that did that, they got to be prosecuted. There's certain laws to protect cops. I get it. But what they're doing to men like me and people sitting in the D.C. gulag, it's pretty hideous just for misdemeanor charges, So I'm glad you guys were there and you guys were reporting the truth and you're being open about it. And now you stated also before we started this that President Donald Trump at the time, retweeted you and big tech took you down on Twitter?
Yes, so I had a pretty big account last year with all of the riot reporting. I was going around. That's actually how Elijah and I had connected a little bit because we were going out to these riots, to these BLM events, to these Antifa events and exposing what was actually going on the streets of America because we all knew that the mainstream media wasn't going to be doing that. We all saw that famous CNN clip. It's fiery but mostly peaceful out here. And so, it really fell on independent journalists to go out and show Americans what was actually going on in the street. So I was at the Million MAGA March last year in November, and Donald Trump had retweeted me. I basically did a pan of the crowd. Everyone was singing the national anthem. Beautiful moment, went super viral. Twitter deleted my account, but more importantly, they deleted all of the footage that I took from BLM riots. A lot of national news organizations would write articles about my footage. They would link the video in. And so that's just an example of how big tech is rewriting history by deleting people who actually were out reporting because now all of those articles, they don't have any video to support them anymore because the account got deleted.
Oh, yeah. And really, so I got a couple more things and we'll be done here. And I want to pinpoint off that real quick. We have a Constitution for a reason, the First Amendment, the right to free speech. The Constitution just wasn't for the government. It's for we the people, the government, and these corporations, these big tech agencies. What they're doing is censoring free speech. We don't need another Constitution or a digital Constitution. The First Amendment's right there. Free speech, let people speak freely. They're destroying lives, they're taking away our voices, and that's on call, and they're just taking away the narrative like you've been catching. So this brings me to my next point. What is going up in Portland? The Proud Boys, Antifa, you got maced by one of the Proud Boys, if I'm not mistaken.
I did. I think they mistook me for an Antifa member. I didn't have my gas mask on so that they would be able to see my face, but heat of the moment because they were clashing with Antifa. We all know Portland is a failed state. You go up there, you try to report even, and Antifa will come and shut you down. One of the first things that I saw that day when I went to go report was I guess the street pastors that go and they'll just go out in the street and they'll have music playing. I was watching this guy getting chased with a steel bat by Antifa members. So that's Portland. That's kind of, the situation you stumble upon over there. And so, of course, the Proud Boys, they don't like that. They wanted to push back. They wanted to say, we have the right to be here too. We have the right to peacefully protest in Portland. And of course, Antifa came, they clashed. There was bear mace everywhere. It's absolutely insane. And I think a lot of people need to realize and understand that on the streets of Portland, the fact that you as a reporter cannot go exercise your First Amendment right to go report on what is going on without being viciously attacked by actual fascists is a very big issue in this country. And for some reason, we're not more concerned about it.
Oh, yeah. We're actually, I call it liberal fascism. We're seeing actual fascism. Fascism isn't a right-wing or a left-wing ideology. When you study actual Mussolini, this is what I'm studying to be a political philosopher, to be a professor. He was a radical socialist.
Yeah.
He studied in Switzerland. Fascism is just national socialism, just a fancier word. You're going to get the same type of dictatorship.
Yeah.
And you look at big tech and these big corporations, they're no different than the Mussolini fascism factories back in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s. Now it's corporations down in America. It's liberal fascism. And the next phase of this is communism. We're seeing a Soviet Union-style movement in this country. Vladimir Lenin led the steps for a left-wing communism disorder. And one of them is demoralizing your nation, decaying it. So my last question, because you told me I got to ask, he's always a hidden gem. He's censored. Alex Jones. What was it like working with Alex Jones? Like, he just looks like a great guy just to talk to and sit down and just have a steak and a beer with.
He's great. I love Alex to death. He helped me get my start in the industry. He was, the first person who took a chance on me and hired me on. He wanted me to report, and I was thrust into it. It was awesome to work for him. I was with him for about 2.5 years, and the man's amazing. He has an incredible brain, and he knows so much. He's been right about so many things. More people need to listen to him and actually heed his warning, because look at where we're at currently. But great energy, great work ethic, one of the hardest working men in the industry. And, if everybody in the media was trained up and raised up by Alex Jones, the nation would look a lot different, and so would the media.
Yep. Oh, great. This was great talking to you, Savannah. All right, guys, this is Savanah Hernandez. You can find her at Rapid Fire on YouTube.
Sav Says on YouTube, Rapid Fire Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to have to take a look at that. I love you on Slightly Offensive. You can also find her producing for Elijah Safer and Slightly Offensive. It was great talking to you, Savannah.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. God bless you.